I've told you already, the true Buds earbuds Realme put out this year are legit winners. They offer features, integration, and polish unlike anything else you find in their price range. And as for this Neo right here, they offer a decent ANC and transparency. You've got customizable controls, good sound, good battery, good looks, and everything for only 35 bucks. I mean, who can resist that? Before we start though, I want to make it very clear about the other new release, the Realme Buds Q2. This is mostly the same thing as last year's Buds Q, but now you only got a slight design upgrade and a new chip. That means I still have a ton of complaints with it. Even the micro USB port is left unchanged. Like, are you even kidding me? So if you're considering the Buds Q2, I say do yourself a favor and get the Neo instead. In this video, I'll tell you all the things why this is one of the best budget ANC buds around. Let's get started. Selamat pagi! Good morning everyone, Kenneth here and welcome to my review of the Realme Buds Air 2 Neo. And I'm gonna call it the Neo from now on. In this video, we're going to talk about how the sound quality compares to my best earbuds under 50 bucks. We'll talk about the Realme Link App, the ANC transparency and its limitations, and we're also going to see the gaming mode latency test as well as microphone test later at the end. As always, full disclosure is down in the description, but please know that you are getting my own honest opinion. Make sure to hit the thumbs up if you appreciate my approach, and please use the affiliate links if you're buying stuff. It would really help me support the channel, and thank you so much. Let's get started with one of the most important thing, the sound quality. So looking at the website, I think Realme has made it very clear that this is a bass first earbuds. You can see the emphasis on bass boost plus EQ. They even call these bass boost drivers. But how does all that bass sound? Can it beat the best for bass pick under $50, the One More Piston Buds? Well, to start, let's listen to Scarlet Fire by Otis McDonald. By default, the dynamic EQ on the Neo keeps things balanced. But don't mistake me, the bass is still very strong here, it's just not the overwhelming kind. There's a boost in the upper mids too, so things like hi-hat and snare hits are brought forward. But across the board, I'd say staging is about as good as the competition here, and it has a good amount of detail too. But let's be real, we're here for the bass, right? So let's turn on that bass boost plus Super Pro Max Ultra mode. How does it sound? To be frank, I think it is way too boomy. Like, you push the mid bass up to 11 and leave the rest of the sound unchanged. So it is out of control, there's no improvement to the sub bass reach, the detail gets worse now, and the song just doesn't sound as fun anymore. The One More Piston Buds fixes that by not boosting the mid bass as much. I say it's right in between the Neo's normal and bass EQ. You're still getting a compact, punchy, and warm sound signature, but you've got a slightly better sub-bass reach with better detail resolution, and overall, it just sounds more refined here. So although the Neo is not too far behind, if you ask me, I will pick the One More Piston Buds for sure. To explain more about that boomy bass on the Neo, let's take a listen at Digital Love by Daft Punk. We'll skip right to the 1 minute 35 seconds part where the bass comes in, and with the Piston Buds, every kick is quick and tight. It's got nice power, but most importantly, you don't feel like the bass decay for too long, which is exactly how it is on the Neo. If I can picture it, it's like a much wider wave with every beat, so everything feels loose and boomy, whereas on the One More, it's like a leaner and more tighter wave. I hope this makes some sense, by the way. This does give you an impression of more bass on the Neo though, and surprisingly enough, I found that it works very well in more mainstream EDM songs like Stay by Zed. Honestly, I couldn't find a way to hate how the Neo sounds here with that bass EQ. Compared to the Piston Buds, the Neo offers about just as good detail because there's not much going on in the first place, but that boomy bass, man, it's like suffocating even at 70% volume. This goes pretty loud too, and as you increase the volume, that bass will just keep on getting more and more intense, and this joins the Tranya M10 becoming that closest thing I've ever got into feeling an actual chest pumping bass in clubs, you know? So yeah, I mean, if EDM hits are all you listen to, by all means, this is the earbuds for you. But now that we've tackled Bass Boost Plus, what about the other EQ presets? Well, I said it at the start, the normal default EQ works very well with most genres. And the treble EQ does a pretty good job cleaning up the highs a little bit too when you need it, so you can adapt the sound to your liking. But keep in mind, they still don't radically change the overall detail and presentation of the sound. So compared to the VLT1 Lite, for example, one of the best crisp and clear sound for 35 bucks, the Neo just can't get anywhere close. Let's talk about it with this J-Rock song, Evening Calm Summer Fireworks by Yorushika. So the VLT1 Lite here blends everything very well. The drums, the guitars, the vocals, they all create a dynamic and lively sound that makes you naturally want to jam with the music. In contrast, the Neo is always limited by something. Say if you put it in normal EQ, you'll feel like the highs are not clear enough, at least for me. And if you put it on treble, that highs are cleaned up, which is good, but you'll now feel like the bass has lost a lot of its impact. Granted, just listening to the Neo alone, I actually quite like it. It sounded pretty good, especially in that treble mode. So I could definitely say if you listen to these kinds of songs only once in a while, yeah, the Neo is perfectly fine. But if most of your library consists of rock, classical, jazz tracks, I say try and consider the VLT1 Lite instead. Okay, I hope you get a good picture of how the Neo sounds now, and if you're liking the video so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss any of my future uploads. But anyway, let's move on to the build quality and fit now. Because I've talked about how I like this design in my comparison video already, I'll try not to repeat too much stuff here. But still, this color specifically, what they call calm gray, although it looks more sky blue to me, has a tinted glass-like touch sensor here, and this just looks amazing. The branding and the matte finish here is good, even though it might get a little bit slippery, so be careful when you're handling it or opening the lid, but I found it to be not as frustrating to open, which is good. There's no resistance on the hinge here, it's only weighted to the back, so without the earbuds, the case might easily roll backwards. But hey, it's nothing too annoying, and the earbuds are very easy to take out too, unlike Redmi AirDots. The battery is 400 mAh inside, which could go up to a week, and there's a color-coded battery indicator in front that lights up every time you open or close the lid. Green means good, red means charge, and the USB-C port is at the back. There's a button inside which you can hold for 2 seconds for pairing mode and 10 seconds for factory reset. And overall, this just not only looks good, but functionally it is perfect as well. Now, as for the earbuds, the egg-shaped design didn't change much from last year's Realme Buds Q, which means I'm still not a fan because most of the sides are touching my ear, so I can't get a good grip of the earbuds when I'm adjusting it. All I can do is kind of press on the edges and move it around, but the flip side is the ear provides a great amount of support to the earbuds, so there's no way for it to move except outwards. Now, it would be perfect if the ear tips grip your ear canal tightly, but unfortunately, Realme is known to give you ear tips that feel like coated with powder. So it's not the kind that stays in there tightly, but the good side is it doesn't create as much sucked in feeling, which I know some would prefer. But when you do things like eat or yawn or grin, these earbuds might loosen up quite easily and you're going to push it in every now and then. This varies from person to person though, and you could get a third-party ear tips, of course. I'll put my recommendation down below, but you don't really have to thanks to the shape again. This, however, is a big problem on the Buds Air 2, but I'll talk about it in its own review. Anyway, these are IPX5 rated, they're equipped with a metal mesh inside, and in my testing, the 40 mAh battery inside could last up to 5.5 hours with ANC on at 50% volume. These numbers will apply for transparency mode, and if you turn ANC off, you could expect these to last up to 7 hours. Not to forget, there's a quick charge feature where 10 minutes inside the case will give you almost 3 hours of music playtime, which is great. Now let's talk about the experience, and we're going to start with the controls. So what you get by default is pretty meh, but a quick trip to the Realme Link app would fix that instantly. The good thing is the customization goes pretty deep here. You can change double tap, triple tap, and hold gestures on left and right earbuds separately. You could even set something for holding both earbuds at the same time. And the touch sensor is big and easy to target. It's responsive, and controlling music with these is a breeze. There's only one complaint here. Realme does not give you an option for volume control, but that's it. Because my other issue I wanted to talk about here, the Android-only app support has been fixed with the latest firmware update. You still have to borrow someone's Android to update it once though. I'll put the detail here, but after that you could do all your business on your iPhone, so no worries on that part. Okay, let's finish talking about what you can do in the Realme app now. So as usual, you can check the battery level of the earbuds and the case. You can set ANC switching modes. The default one cycles between ANC or transparency, but you could take the normal mode as well. So you could turn the feature off by just holding the earbud and save some battery. And of course, you get your EQ presets that plays a little sound effect every time you switch. There's a volume enhancer toggle, which boosts the volume even more if you need it. And finally, there's an auto answer feature where the earbuds would automatically pick up an incoming phone call, and all you need to do is to take these earbuds out of the case. Overall, I think the app is pretty well built. It doesn't feel buggy or laggy at all. It's gone a long way since when it first launched last year, but one caveat is you do need to create an ID first before you can use the app, which might be a big no for some, but it does sync your paired earbuds across different phones, so at least you have some convenience benefit there. Alright, let's finally talk about the ANC. And I could say for the most part, the system here blocks crowd noise in a mall, cars in the streets, AC rumbles, fridge noises pretty well. It is not as strong as the pricier competitors like the Soundbeats T2, Feel CC Pro, or One More Comfort Buds Pro. It's actually not even as good as the Feel T1 Pro at blocking the higher frequencies, but I feel like that's because I don't have as much a tight fit with the Neo here, so again, changing to a better third-party ear tips would also help in this regard. Anyway, it's still better than those ANC buds from QCY or Halo, or any ANC buds under $50 really. And the good part about a weaker ANC like this is it doesn't make you feel drowned underwater, which is good if you're sensitive to pressure changes. And it does not alter the sound quality too, although there's a tiny bit of electronic hiss, but that's only noticeable in a quiet room. When you play any music, it'll just disappear, and especially outside it's never noticeable, so don't worry too much about it. The other thing that you need to know is these ANC or transparency are quite sensitive to wind noise. For example, when I'm walking a bit faster in the streets or even inside a shopping mall, that little bit of wind coming at me will disrupt the ANC, adding sounds like you're blowing onto a mic, and the only way to solve this is to turn the ANC off. But again, this is only 35 bucks, and having an ANC that works is already very impressive. As for how the transparency mode works, again, it uses this mic above the touch sensor, so you won't accidentally rub on it pretty often, unless you're adjusting the earbuds, of course. And the quality is pretty good. I could hear what the other person is saying clearly, but it seemed to not let my own voice back in, which means I still get a lot of that bone conducted sound, you know, that muffled version of your own voice when you close your ear. That's not relieved here. And also, there's a slight hissing too, more than the Soundbeats Feel or One More. But all those are really minor issues because using it in my day-to-day, the Neo gets a lot of things right. For example, by default, these always turn on with ANC on, and transparency mode is just one gesture away. Better yet, you can still use transparency even when you're only using one side. This is something that no other ANC buds under 100 bucks could do up until this moment. But you still can't switch between ANC modes when you're on a phone call, but that's reserved, I guess, for the Realme Buds Air 2. Last but not least, as far as connection quality is concerned, I found these buds to give a solid audio stream. Editing videos with this on my Mac has been a great experience as well. I haven't got any audio glitches nor sudden disconnection and stuff like that. And most importantly, the microphone actually surprised me by how good it catches my voice in a quite noisy background. Let's just check it out right now.
this is, and then I said variation, so I'm mixing my singular and my plural. This name is a little confusing, but we'll make do. So what the Moondrop variations is obviously the latest IEM from Moondrop, and if you will recall from about 6 months ago, I did my 2020 Yearphone Awards where I named my 5 favorite IEMs of 2020, and in that, 3 of the 5, I believe, were Moondrop IEMs, so as you can see, I've got pretty good reason to be excited about the new IEM from Moondrop.
All right, welcome to the call test, everyone. Right now, you're listening to the Realme Buds Air 2 Neo. Let's identify which mic is currently being used. This is an indoor setting where nothing is playing right now. I mean, nothing is going on, so this is practically the best sound that you could get from the Buds Air Neo. Okay, let's go outside and see how this performed with the outdoor noise. And we're also going to compare it to the benchmark of the test, the AirPods Pro. Okay, so welcome everyone to the call test. Right now you're listening to the Realme Buds Air Neo. And what do you think of the microphone quality? We have a lot of cars passing by in my background, and there's a little bit of wind too, actually. So yeah, we give it a little bit of tortured test, actually. And we're going to compare it to the AirPods Pro right now. So let's check it out. Okay, so here we are on the AirPods Pro, and you probably can hear my voice considerably better than before, and also the background noise is a lot more, reduced. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the microphone test. Let's get back to the video. Okay, maybe I didn't emphasize this much throughout the video, but seriously, this is a 35 bucks earbuds. Normally, you just get a good sounding earbuds with good gaming mode and that's it. But here, you are getting a good ANC and transparency while keeping all the basics in check, which makes the Realme Buds Air 2 Neo a solid buy no matter how you look at it. Especially now it's updated to support iOS app already. It beats out a lot of earbuds in my top 5 pick under 50 bucks. It's basically the only choice I recommend if you want ANC or transparency on a budget. So as I've said in my previous comparison video, if you've been eyeing for the Buds Air 2 Neo, I say go for it. Especially if you're into bassy sound, I think this will really satisfy you. But if you're willing to spend a little bit more and get an even better experience, I recommend the Buds Air 2 instead. I'll review it very soon. So again, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss it. Don't hesitate to leave a comment if you have any more questions. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I share a lot of stuff there. And please use the links when buying stuff as it will really help me keep the channel going. Okay, that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Kenneth and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.